long-term relationships are the best. You've got to deliver, but you've got to choose good partners to be with. In 1966, I went to Indianapolis for the 500-mile race.
Jackie Stewart, a rookie driver, makes the field of her first day.
I qualified quite well, and my big deal was I was going to buy a Rolex. I went into a local jeweler and chose a day date with the best bracelet, all 18 karat gold. Was I proud? So the integrity of the relationship's rather good in that I chose a Rolex before Rolex chose me. The great thing about being a Grand Prix driver is that you're driving an extraordinary machine, which is the finest quality of anything in four wheels. That's what Rolex is. It's got huge style, but huge quality, and the ingredients are all the very best. My partnership with Rolex is special. To be part of the Rolex family is to strive for the absolute pinnacle of human achievement. From Sir Malcolm Campbell to the Daytona 24-hour race, to Tom Christensen's success, the pursuit of excellence is a tradition. Rolex coming into Formula One Grand Prix racing, I think it gave it extra integrity. They brought a new sheen to the sport, precision and excellence. Rolex and motorsport are tied by a legacy. It's truly an honor to be associated with that and to have helped shape it. It feels like only yesterday that I joined Rolex.
That was kind of... What's going on? Hey, I invited a couple of guys to the chat. I don't know if they'll join. That'd be cool if they do. Maybe one day they will. I don't think there's anything I need to do to have them join other than send them the request. So let's turn the camera on. Figure out how this works. What's going on, Flippin'? Zippo, blue shirt? How are you? Okay, let me see if I stop screen sharing. Stop. And now it should show my camera. Hey, what's going on? So yeah, I invited a couple of the guys over, and I don't know if they'll join or not. That'd be really cool if they do. But I sent my Rolex out for a service about 3 weeks ago, and it came back today. So I went and picked it up. Sorry, I'm going to be kind of like speaking broken because I'm looking back and forth at the comments and trying to read them at the same time. So I see that we got Blue Shirt, Flip and Zippo, and then we got a few more heads that are watching that aren't speaking. Hey, what's up, Hotsy? How are you? So what did I do? Yeah, I took my my first watch. This is my first luxury watch, at least. My very first luxury watch that I bought in 2012. So I started buying watches in 2012. And this one kind of got beat up a lot because it was my only watch, my daily watch. And yeah, I slept with it. I never took it off. This watch was with me in every aspect of my life. And it was the only watch, so it got a lot of wrist time. And, you know, I was wondering, how do I get it serviced? You know, and why did I get it serviced at the 7-year mark? Would that be 7 years? 20 to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's about 7 years since I've had it. A lot of people say to service the watch with a, you know, at a secondhand place, you know, like at your watchmaker, so you can save money, or perhaps at Jewelers on Time, which I'm sure they're really cool. Jewelers on Time is actually very close to me, and I went there and asked them how much it would be for a service on this watch, and they said about $650, I think. So have any of you gotten a service on a modern steel sports Rolex? I'm wondering if about $650 is what you've paid. I mean, quoted is a whole different story, but the reason why I took it in at the 7-year mark, that isn't something I ordinarily would do, but because it was my first watch, I kind of didn't know that you should just kind of gently tighten it whenever you unscrew the crown. You should just gently tighten the crown. So I was in the habit of over tightening the crown. This watch went into the water quite a bit. I went into the ocean quite a bit, and I didn't want to. Well, I just thought you need to tighten it. I didn't think there would be any harm in tightening it. And the problem was I over tightened it. So the lesson here to learn from moi, if you don't know already, is don't over tighten the crown on your watches. And what happened was it just got tighter and tighter and tighter to the point to where I really could barely unscrew and screw the crown. And so I had to take it in. And then considering where I should take it, do I want to save a few bucks, you know, by not sending it to the Rolex dealer for a service? Well, you know, I called up a couple of places and they all wanted about the same price. And being that it needed service on the crown, I didn't want to, you know, mess around. I kind of wanted Rolex to actually fix the watch. And, you know, so basically I went to my AD and they said that a service is going to cost somewhere between $800 and $1,400. So they had me sign a waiver approving up to, I think, $1,400 for a service, no matter what they needed. And I got a call back today, and I was a little surprised. It came back cheaper than I thought. The full service from Rolex, including a polish, looks to be a standard $750. And the crown replacement, not replacement, the repair, from what I understand, there's a sleeve inside the crown. There's a sleeve inside the case that the crown screws in and out of, and that's the part that I messed up. And so yeah, so I actually got it from Serviced by Rolex. So Ben Bridge is my AD. It went to a service center in, where's that? Pennsylvania. And I paid $750 for the service, $87 for the crown repair. And so that came out to $837. And don't ask me why, but for whatever reason, my AD, I noticed after I came home, I paid $10 more than what this says. So go figure. I think I paid tax or something. But yeah, this was for So it was $850 basically. $750 for the service and another $90 for the crown repair. And couple of interesting things. So this is what it came in. It came in the Rolex service pouch, you know, and it came with a Rolex service guarantee card. So one thing I didn't know about my watch is that it was an M series. Nowhere in any of my original documentation did it reference that it was an M series. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Does it matter? I mean, it's kind of cool to know. But it comes, guess what? It comes with a 2-year guarantee from Rolex. I thought it would be 5-year. I thought it was going to be a 5-year guarantee, but no, it's a 2-year international card guarantee. Yeah. So blue shirt says smart move as far as taking it there. Yeah, being that it ended up costing $850 when I went to Kenny, and Kenny quoted me $650, I believe, without the repair. So, I mean, I you know, I might as well have it done by the people who made the watch. And that's all it came with. So you want to laugh at something? This is the funniest part, is that it came with the pouch and the warranty, but it didn't come with a cloth. It didn't come with a polishing cloth, and neither did the last 3 Rolexes I bought from the AD. They didn't come with polishing cloths either. So I hit them up about that, and they said that Rolex doesn't give out polishing cloths anymore. They don't come with the new watches. That's why I didn't get them. They don't come with service repairs. That's why I didn't get one. And I kind of questioned that. I was wondering maybe they're pulling my leg. So I actually called another place that is affiliated closely with Rolex, and they affirmed that you can't get the cloths anymore. It's they're not giving them out. Forget about it. You're not getting the freaking cloth. Okay, let me see if anybody's saying anything in here. Kenny is a little expensive because it takes a lot of money to get all the equipment together. Yeah. You got a polishing cloth, Finn? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so I called up a Rolex store in the mall that's local to me, and you know, I told them that I'm a customer of theirs, and I had to buy a watch at another AD because they didn't have it, and I was just curious about the whole cloth conspiracy thing, and they, you know, they agreed that they're not giving them out anymore. So I don't know. But anyway, as far as the watch quality of the service and the polish, it really came out spectacular. The quality, this is the first time it's been touched. Nobody's ever polished this watch. I've never done anything to it, and I can tell you it had a really good nick in it on the case, and I was kind of curious how that was going to come out, and boy, I don't even remember where the nick was. I'll be honest. I don't remember where the nick was. They polished it. It looks really, really good. The one thing I can tell is that, you know, when you buy the watch new, the bezel edge is raw. It's raw, you know, it's unpolished. But when you get it back from a service, it's polished. So it does have that polished look to it now, as opposed to the raw unpolished look on the teeth. I kind of like it. It looks really good. So I think it looks pretty good in this camera, right? But yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to polish this watch again. One time and that's it. Yeah, Flip and Zippo, I was wondering if they're selling the rags on eBay. That's why I called the Rolex store that was owned by Barron and Leeds. And I called them up and I said, hey, you guys are the store that's owned by Barron and Leeds, right, in the mall? And they said, yeah, that's us, but we're not owned by Barron and Leeds any longer. We're actually a direct Rolex store. And I said, oh, wow, okay. I said, well, I'm a customer of yours, but, you know, obviously because of the shortage of stainless steel watches, I'm a customer of another dealer, and I just bought a watch from them. And, you know, it didn't come with a polishing rag. And I also had a watch serviced by them, and it didn't come with a polishing rag. And I'm just wondering what's up with the polishing rags. Are they pulling my leg when they tell me that they can't get them anymore? And the girl there said no. She said they're not. I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but man, they're not just handing them out, I guess. I don't know. At least good old Rich is getting gypped on the polishing rags. All right. I bought three out of 5 Rolexes don't have them. And the Daytona I just got doesn't have it. And the service watch I got doesn't have it. Oh, what else did it come with? It came with a book, you know what I mean? Whatever. It came with a Care for Your Rolex book. And what was in here? I don't know. I didn't even look at this. Oh, I guess this goes through everything that they did to the watch. So it lists everything. Sorry, that's an incoming fax. Okay, so it lists everything they did to the watch. So there we go. Disassembly, cleaning the movement, replacing of components, lubrication, timing calibrations, refinishing, reassembly, waterproof tests, final quality control, 2-year service guarantee. You know, I think all of those assurances that all of these things were done is worth the money. So whether you're paying $300 for a service, 600, or the 750 that I would have paid without the repair, I mean, don't you think the extra 300 or so dollars is worth the assurance that you know all of these were done and not just said they were done? I think so. You don't do it that often, right? Yeah, so I didn't see anybody doing a live stream, so I figured, what the hell? I'm getting watch talk withdrawals. I'll come in here and start a stream, and maybe Jen and Clive will join. So cool. At least you guys are in the chat, guys. That's awesome. You know, the one thing I regret, Blue Shirt, about when I went to see Kenny about the service on the watch, he showed me a Zenith Daytona that was there for 17,000, and in hindsight, I wish I picked it up. But what are you going to do? Those watches are going for mad money right now. Yeah, I mean, we're peasants. I asked the guy, Clive, about that, and he said, you know, they're Rolex. What do you expect? And you know, I don't use them. I have I have two Rolex cloths that came with the original 2 watches, and they're in the box unused. They're totally in the box unused. And so, I mean, I wasn't going to use them, but it's cool to have them with the original set. Just reading the comments here. So I'm new to this live streaming thing, so it would be cool if somebody joined me. Maybe that'll happen in the future. Oh, there you go. What's up, Clive?
Oh, not much. I didn't realize you were live streaming. Then you said, "Oh, I see you guys a link." Oops.
Oh, cool.
Well, I've got the channel. The channel email is not tied into the normal email. It's sorry, that's a bad word. Separated from the rest of them so that it doesn't get lost in work clutter.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, cool. At least you made it. So maybe you can help me out a little bit.
First question though. I'm sorry, came in late.
Yeah.
What kind of car is that?
That's a Porsche.
Porsche. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 911 2004 model.
So still air cooled, right?
No, water cooled. Yeah, water cooled. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. Looks nice. I love the color.
Yeah, matches yours, right?
Mine's a little yellower, but yeah. But on the other hand, I think that would be really fun to drive. Does it have an automatic or a stick?
Yeah, it's an automatic with the Tiptronics, you know, the shifting in the steering wheel, which is good for me.
It's Teutonic Tectonics.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I'm going to be honest. I'm indifferent about the car. I love it. I've never had a sports car before. It's fun and everything, but man, shit, the upkeep and maintenance costs were kind of a blow to me. I didn't realize that it was going to cost an arm and a leg to keep the car going. You're kind of married. I'm kind of married to it at this point. There's no way in hell I could ever sell it for Blue Book and recoup half the costs I put in keeping it up. You know, but that's all good.
So it's like a Ulysses Nardin, basically, right?
Yeah, there you go,
dude.
Thanks.
Well, and like, yeah, well, one of those things though, you know, mine isn't really the high dollar one, but it's fun to stick. It's got a 5-speed, which I appreciate. I wouldn't want to drive it every day, but yeah, I love the color. Jen Tingler yellow. I'm sorry, Vingtonier yellow.
You know, I don't drive much, so it's really fun to zip around in when I do drive.
Oh yeah.
But I paid about $30 for it. So 30,000 for it, and it had about 57,000 miles on it, I think. So it was pretty good at the time, but yeah, you know, in 2 years I've put about 15,000 in repairs. But you know, parts are new parts, you know, new catalytic converter, new, you know, new this, new that, new struts, whatever, just everything is new on the car. I got to replace this top right here because it's curling up on the other side a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to run me $2,500. So, but hey, I'll do that. And then there's a scratch on the fender I want to get taken care of. We had a windy day last summer and the damn umbrella fell on the car. I didn't expect it to fall on the car and it fell on the car.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, you know,
lovely looking car though. So
thanks.
you just received your ceramic sub date from Rolex Service, right?
Yeah. From the Ben Bridge authorized dealer, you know, I sent it to them, got it about 3 weeks later. It was so quick. I couldn't believe how quick the turnaround was on it.
And they won't even send you a freaking cloth.
Can you believe that?
No, I can. Rolex can do what the hell they want to, and we'll still line up. Man,
I mean, yeah, it just blows me away. It's kind of just bad representation.
They can get away with it. They can totally get away with it, and people will still line up.
Hey, they did a great job, though. I mean, what am I going to do? It is what it is, but it looks good. Now I'm not going to want to wear it.
Yeah,
at least for a while. To be honest, this Doxa that I picked up hasn't come off my wrist since I picked it up. I'm in love with this watch.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, there's no shame in that kind of. I mean, there's no shame in that horology. Doxa's a good watch. Just doesn't have the cachet. It's not a luxury watch, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily a piece of crap either.
No, it's got, you know, that 28, that EVA 2824 movement.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think buying that watch sort of brought me full circle. You know, I started with Rolex, I kept going Rolex, and then Patek, and then.
Now, which one do you have? I know you sent me an email about it, but.
Which one?
Which Patek do you have?
The 5196.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the Doxa was my last purchase. But to be honest, it feels like I came full circle. Full circle in the sense that.
No, your Calatrava, you didn't go to the Patek scratch and dent clearance sale, right?
What do you mean?
Archie
like what
Luxury.
Archie did? No, I actually got really lucky with this one. You know what I did was I had about 3 watches on my radar. I said if one of them comes along as a good deal, then I'm gonna pick it up, which I think is a good watch buying strategy. Have 3 watches that you know you want really bad, and when you see one of them, then you can grab it.
Well, yeah. Have your cash? Yeah.
Right. So I saw this 5196 for 14.5.
What?
And guess what? It was only 3 months old with papers. 3 months old.
Oh man, that is good wrangling.
Yeah. So I bought it March of last year, and the papers were dated December of the 3 months prior.
Now, how many Rolexes do you have besides the sub date?
6. So I've got seven now.
Now, oh God, I wish, yeah.
This one doesn't get much wrist time. You know, my son's first communion on Sunday. That's the only watch that's been on my wrist other than the Doxa. So just on that one day, just on Sunday.
Let me send you a response. I'll show you something well, I didn't get a new watch, but I picked up something for a current watch. Let me see it. Let me try to get the freaking, okay. Now this is, every time I appear on Archie, I sent you, respond to the email, I sent a picture. Now every time I appear on Archie, he asks about this one. But tell me if you notice something different about it.
What are you showing us?
A picture.
Okay, waiting for it. I just hear you hitting your vape right now. I don't see other than your Parmesan-y.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I did send it. So.
Oh, you emailed me something?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Man, I don't know if I know how to look at a picture.
Okay. Okay, Rich. What does your area code start with?
714.
All right. Now I probably have it somewhere. Trouble is, I've got people calling me in the car, and sometimes I can't really, especially driving Vingtier. You don't want to take.
Okay. So you're sending me this to look at privately, I guess. Okay. You don't want me to share it. I don't know how to share an email picture. You just want me to look at it.
Well, okay. It's actually not. Well, are you on Mac or a PC?
Oh, I don't see it. Yeah, I'm on a Mac.
Okay. Well, it's not that hard.
I don't think I got any emails.
Oh, no, because, okay, then I sent it to fucking Google. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
All right. Like, I can get this. I can do this. All right.
Okay.
I can do, okay. Derp. Okay, then I pull
So
out.
is this a watch you're considering?
No, it's an augmentation.
Okay. Hey, what's up, Mr. Ant? How are you?
There we go.
Gish Lane has a 993S. What's a 993S? I'll have to look that up. I'll be honest, I don't know all of the different Porsches. I know mine's a 996, so I'm not sure exactly what a 993 is.
Just judging what Porsche? Boxster? I have an immaculate, so I kind of think it's a Boxster based upon the earlier.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is a 996, 911, and it's a 4S. So it's an all-wheel drive, and it's the S model, so it has a little bit more horsepower. Yeah. So you want me to check my? There it is. Okay. Now you still have this AP, right?
Yeah, but you notice anything different about it?
I notice. What could be different about it? I know you wouldn't really. No, I mean, no, I can't say what would be different about it. I know you wouldn't change anything. So what would be different?
Yeah, there's only one thing you can change in that watch, really. It's on the bracelet.
Oh, you got the bracelet. Duh. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I feel like such a little bitch saying this. That I got a pretty little bracelet for me, But on the other hand, I had so many people say, no, bad investment. It's, you're sinking.
Wow.
Into it. But I fucking love the bracelet.
You know what? The bracelet on an AP is like 50% of the watch, isn't it?
This raises the fuck offery of that watch.
Yeah.
Like exponentially. And the blue strap on it was really nice, but this one really makes the dial pop, I think. It just even though it's brushed, it's not polished at all, but it still commands so much attention to the watch.
Yeah, it's amazing looking. I mean, it was. Now, how easy is it to swap it out? Is that something you can do on your own really quickly? Is it by, do you need a tool, or you can do it just by?
I think you need a special tool for it. I let my guy up in Tulsa. He got me a really good price on the bracelet. So I just sent the watch back with him. He came to the city, and then I went back and got it last night.
Nice.
So yesterday, it's like, it's a beautiful day. I'm going to drop Victonier's top and just drive to Tulsa, and drove straight into a thunderstorm.
Oh, shoot. That's not fun with a rack top ever.
No.
How's the top on that car? Does it withstand the rain, or it's kind of an issue?
Pretty decent. It's not a power top. But as long as I had forward motion, it was blowing enough of it off and keeping it off me. But when you had to slow down for, of course, shitty rush hour traffic, but at that point, you wait for the traffic stop, you throw it out of gear, reach, contort, reach back, pull the top off, slam it down, or slam it up.
Yeah, Boozer, a Porsche Carrera GT is the true Paul Walker Porsche. You know what? If my Bitcoin makes me a fortune, I'll be trading this sucker in. How about that? And I'll get one of them fancy green neon colors, But let's see what happens. Got to throw in the dice on that one.
Well, I actually a special event also happened yesterday, I think, or maybe the day before yesterday.
What's that?
I walked into a local AD, and they had an Explorer on the shelf, on the display.
That's pretty. Yeah, I mean, what's that doing there?
What? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I was saying that about the chocolate dialed two-tone Yachtmaster that I saw there today. And I mean, you know, we're saying that about Yachtmasters, and you saw Polar Explorer.
No, Explorer 1.
Explorer 1.
Yeah.
But he said this Yachtmaster was on layaway for a while, and the person didn't come through, so he had to put it back on the shelf. So nice looking watch. I don't mind that Yachtmaster two-tone with the chocolate dial. Looks pretty good.
Well, like I said, I had before the disappearance, but before the watch revelations, before the Rolex end times, I picked up a while back like a two-tone Yachtmaster with a blue dial.
Okay.
And
I like those. Yeah.
I love the blue dial, but I hate that big soft gold bezel.
It was a white gold bezel. No, two-tone.
Two-tone with the yellow gold bezel.
Yeah. I really like that rhodium dial Yachtmaster one. If I was going to pick one up, I'd get that rhodium dial with the platinum bezel. That one is just awesome. You know,
Platinum bezel. I like the blue. I've seen the blue, and I thought about them. It's just like, I love this watch, but you know, that you know, it's even like the Explorer though. You know, it's a lovely watch, but considering that's one of the few models that if you look around, you can still find them with a little bit of effort under MSRP.
Yeah.
So, I think if you're getting a watch that's like 5 figures or higher, box and papers all the way. But is it really going to, if you have like an Explorer, is it really going to kill you if you don't have the warranty card?
No, I mean, no, not if you're getting a good deal. I mean, I have one Rolex without the paperwork, and it was a good deal. It was a watch that I knew I would never sell, and so I pulled the trigger on it without the paperwork. It's the only one that's not modern. My day date. So I bought a day date without paperwork, and you know what? I'm so lucky I did, because when I look at the prices of these day dates, I'm seeing the first. I'm seeing prior models going for more money. The non-quick set dates.
Yep.
They're going for pretty good money, and I'm surprised. I have the 18238, the double quick set date, and I picked that up for 11.2 with no papers, and I think that was pretty good for really wanting a president. I wanted, if you remember, you and Archie and everybody talked me out of keeping that Omega, that solid gold Constellation 38 millimeter that I was on the hook for about 18,500. So
you were so welcome.
Yeah. So I took that back, and I got the President for 11 instead.
No, but here's the funny thing. Here's what occurred to me about the Explorer. The Explorer is the sub date of 2019.
You mean in the aspect of desirability?
And people are going to take this as a slam, and it's not. But one of the things about the pre-ceramic sub-dates that there's just so damn many of them out there. And if you're walking around, I mean, if you're walking around, you see an older guy, they're rocking a, if they did halfway well, they're rocking a date just two-tone. If they did really well, they're rocking they got a day date. Younger guys, it's always a Submariner date.
Yeah, you know what? Over here by the beach where I'm at, you see the sub date quite often. I really don't see date just as much now, but definitely the subs are really prevalent here, like you're saying, the pre-ceramics.
And that's not a slam on the watch. It's a great watch, the pre-ceramic and the ceramic. Mm-hmm. But there's so many of them, almost ubiquitous. And I hate to say, and a lot of times, some of the, of course, there's reason for watch nerds to have it, but there's also a lot of reason for non-watch people to have it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I have to admit, I kind of like I like having a watch that's a little bit more exclusive feeling, even if it is a $2,500 watch.
Yeah.
I kind of feel really proud when I'm wearing this, you know? I
And
like it. I just like it.
now Victinier is saying I seek date just everywhere. That he's Asian.
Well, where is yeah, but he's in Canada, right? And he's in a yeah, he's in a business in a lot of business settings. Sure, you're going to see that, but I'm here in Huntington Beach, and everybody is kind of in a t-shirt um, and and on their boats or on the beach or on the sand, and they're all rocking the water
But
watch.
but these days, I almost think these instead of the everyone having the Submariner, it seems like everyone's got the Explorer.
Yeah, I see the Explorer a lot at the airport. It's so funny. That's like the airport watch.
The Explorer 2 or just the regular Explorer?
Um, gosh, all of them. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, all of them. You know, it's. I often try to recognize someone else's watch, and it's pretty hard to do. You can kind of only do it with a Rolex, and or definitely with a Reverso. That's the easiest one to spot by a mile. But when you do spot a Rolex, it's kind of hard to spot a sub because you're not sure if it's an Invicta or another
Right.
homage watch. But there aren't any homage watches, replicas or ripoffs of the Explorers, is there? So when
No.
you see one, you know what it is.
Well, I hate to say it, but these days I can spot a Rolex just by the freaking bracelet.
Yeah, that's the easiest way, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah. Jay says on planes and airports, I see more Pateks lately.
Well, yeah, because you want to keep it on your wrist at all time. Damned if you're going to put it in.
Yeah. Where's Blue Shirt at? He says he sees updates all the time.
Well, and that's one of the more common ones I see.
Yeah, that is the most common watch. When I go to my kids' birthday parties and see the other parents, I would say most of them don't have a nice watch on, but when one of them does have a nice watch on, it's going to be a Rolex sub date or a Rolex sub.
And it's almost the model for people that really aren't watch enthusiasts.
Yeah, I see them. You're correct. The people that I see with them, they have it more as a I made it watch.
Exactly.
To themselves, to them, you know, I mean, probably they made it and they want their watch. You know, that's how I was when I got my first watch. It took me a dozen years to be able to afford my first watch.
Now, Blue Shirt Buddha says, I've yet to see anyone with an Explorer 214270 other than mine. Okay, now Blue Shirt, okay, now I'm also talking about online. I'm also talking about online on Fist and Horology Talk and so forth.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you've got just the tiniest bit of a contrarian streak, that almost takes the sub date in the Explorer, you know what I mean, off the status or off the icon list.
How so?
Well, who wants to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to have the exact same watch that everyone else has, or everyone that you know, just to fit in the crowd? But
yeah, I mean, you can buy an Air King now and be kind of special because how many of us have an Air King besides AC3?
oh no, he got rid of his.
Oh, so you see.
Well, the thing is, I think if there's Rolex models that's in danger of being either updated or discontinued for 2020, I'd say the Air King and the Explorer 2.
You really think they would discontinue the Air King, the good old Air King?
By Rolex standards, it's a failure.
Hasn't it been around forever though?
Well, okay, no. That's like saying Breguet has been around forever, or Hublot or Blancpain's been around for. There's a big distinct gap there for a few years.
Mm.
And I'm talking about the 2016 Air King. They already had discontinued it for like 5 years before they brought out the the racing dial one.
Yeah. So yeah, so you were saying that the Air King and another one that in 2020 they would discontinue would be the which one?
I could see them up to I think if they brought out an Explorer 2, but with a non-moving ceramic bezel, I think people would lose their effing minds.
With a non-moving ceramic, whoa, the ceramic bezel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, it's kind of funny how all their watches are moving towards the ceramic bezel, isn't it? I'm not sure if that's a good thing. Shouldn't it keep some models?
And eventually I could see and eventually they're going to have to put in the new movement in the Explorer.
The 3135 movement?
Yeah. Now, Jay Sykes is saying, what watch do you see other lawyers wearing? Subdates, the older guys, like I said, have two-tone date justs, or the really heavy-hitting trail guys have day dates, and a sprinkling of GMTs and Yachtmasters. Oh, and Explorer 2s. There's a couple of guys that definitely love their Explorer 2s, 40 millimeter.
Would you say that most of them do have nice watches? Like half of them do, or more than half of them?
The older ones do. The younger ones have Apple Watches.
Right. They're not hip to getting them yet. They will when they're older. They'll probably make a move.
Well, no, in a lot of ways, it's a lot more versatile because someone can send you a text. If you're in a courtroom, I don't care which courtroom you're in, you're allowed to look at your watch. But if you've got the office sending you like, holy shit, be advised, or, red alert, you can always look down and read the text on the Apple Watch, where pulling out your phone might get you hot water.
Right. I guess that makes sense.
So, to be honest, I don't know, a little bored with Rolex, frankly.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm into the Doxa right now, I bought them as I liked them. I discovered the brand. I knew of the brand when I started off as a advisor in the insurance industry and stuff. You obviously know the brand, and I bought what I liked. I knew the first one I wanted was the black one, this one here. And to be honest, I thought this was going to be my only watch. So somewhere along the line, I wanted to reward myself with another one. And it didn't stop. It just kept going. How that is.
Well, and like I said, sometimes, I've got this Flieger, this Ur-B with Unitas movement with an ETA 6498. And it's just a really, really well-made watch, sterile dial. Big old, it doesn't have an onion crown, it has a diamond crown, which is even easier to wind, supremely accurate. And I think it's the great lume. I think it's just a hell of a great watch for the money.
Right.
To me, I think everything IWC, and I'm looking at that one, and I'm looking at what IWC charges for a big pilot, and I thought, what a bunch of rip-off artists.
Oh, because the movement is the same?
This one's actually closer to what the original Flieger watch was. The Flieger watch is basically worn by Luftwaffe bomber crews.
How fun is that?
And and some of these companies, Stowa and so forth, supplied them to the Luftwaffe, so they're all basically homages.
Okay.
Yeah, so to the historical reference. So it's not like IWC came up with a big pilot and everyone else is ripping them off. They're all ripping off the Nazis. Vincent Yates is saying the only people under 40 I see wearing Rolexes are Asians. Well, the only person under 40 I see what they're wearing is the only person under 40 I see wearing a Rolex is a two-tone Daytona with a Maserati dial. And by under 40, I mean IQ, not age.
Vintinier, that's because You have to be only Asians under 40 are making money when they're under 40. Nobody else under 40 is making money yet. Right, Vintenier? We're all still working
No,
hard.
I think he's what he's. No, what I think he's. Well, it could be right. What I interpreted that as is that crazy rich Asians, you know, status obsessed.
Right.
In the UK IT consulting sector, if you're into their watches, well, I think that would be more of an Apple Watch or Galaxy Gear sort of crowd anyway. But yeah, I kind of think right now, I kind of think right now, and this is really unpopular to say, but I kind of, you know, I think there's a lot of people holding on to watches, their Rolexes that they've fallen in love with or they got and tried out and because it was the only thing they could find, and they're just holding on to them. And to me, I think that's not a good thing.
Well, I mean, you're not going to get rid of them unless you have to get rid of them, right? I mean, maybe I think
if you don't love the watch, why are you holding on to it?
because you know they're going up in value.
Exactly. The shortage is turning us all into flippers and hoarders.
Unless you're a creepy photographer and you want to throw the money into a mutual fund.
No, that'd be Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right.
Hey, that's the one thing I agree with him on, that Bitcoin thing. I hope I'll be buying 5170s with that money one day.
I mean, and to me, why if you have a bunch of what? I mean, if you have, and of course, it's also kind of, I guess maybe, well, you know, I hate to say it, Mark is right. Maybe I can't be, maybe I'm a little bit of a contrarian. But of course, if you get a Rolex or any other watch that you love, hold on to it with both hands. But if there's watches that you've lost the passion for, why are you holding on to them?
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. I don't think I've ever bought a watch that I've lost the passion for. As a matter of fact, the Omega, the gold Omega that I returned, you know, I kind of miss, I really do miss it. I'll be honest. I do miss it. It was a heavy hitter. It really was a heavy hitter. So, yeah, I mean, I like looking at them. I like looking at them as a collection as a whole. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, if you love them, then you don't have to apologize for having a watch that you love. I mean, but I think the whole goal of this whole thing is to get the watch, get the watch for you rather than get it from impressing everybody else. Now, if other people like your watch, I have to admit that is gratifying. And to have a discovery and to have an unexpected discovery and share it with the other nerds, that is great. But I think there's a lot of people out there. I think there's a lot of people out there that are getting watches just solely to impress other people, or they're unsure. And I think a lot of that also depends when people talk about value retention. I almost think that's the same thing.
yeah, you know, I personally don't go out often enough to be able to show off my watches. So for me, it's my own craziness, my own internal addiction. I have a very addictive personality. I used to be
you kind of smile or smirk and say, "Yep."
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, I used to play poker. That was a bad obsession. You know, oh shit, you know, so this is better than doing something like that. It was fun, but it was bad. You know.
Now, Gislin says, bought my BLNR because AD was rocking when I collected my Daytona. Yeah, and sometimes I don't know, it's not a flipper. I'd almost consider it more like a tourist or a pilgrim to try something out, experience it. And if you fall out of love, then move on to the next town.
No, for sure. There's nothing wrong with churning a watch or two because it's time to replace it. Absolutely. That's great to do, you know?
And like I said, my Explorer 2, I'm kind of working on a major restructuring, but I cannot let that Explorer 2 go. The 42 in black.
Mm.
But I think ultimately the goal is to get to a point to where resell and flippability and value retention doesn't matter. It's just you look down and say, I'm going to keep this fucking watch forever.
Well, here's a good example of something. If I'm getting that 5167.
Now, that's a Patek. Now, help me out again. I don't have all the reference numbers.
Right, the Aquanaut.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I've ordered that a couple of years ago, and it's coming at MSRP. And it's not just coming at MSRP, it's coming at the old MSRP before the price hike. And it's coming with the bracelet, the black strap, and the chocolate brown strap. I couldn't get the green strap, but trust me, I tried.
Yeah.
And here's the thing with that watch is part of me wishes that it didn't go up in value because I want to wear it and I want to keep it. And it's the only steel sports Patek that I could possibly have, get, or wear. And so if I get rid of it, I'm not going to have a sports Patek. But
true, but well,
I'm not crazy enough to keep the watch and not flip it to make a 20 grand. I'm not that crazy. You have to do it. You have to sell it. I'm just not crazy enough to keep the watch.
Or no, here, okay, let me take the flip side, okay?
And I'm not a flipper. And
Yeah.
that's the exact reason why I think, hey, you know, that's a lot of money. I appreciate money, and I gotta do it.
I think that's, well, and the thing is, your opinion might change once you put it on.
Yeah. Maybe.
And if you put that thing on and you're in love, you know, you look down at it and say, well, it'll see, you know, it'll still be worth a shit ton of money tomorrow.
Oh, that's what can happen. Convincing yourself that you can always get rid of it and get money for it later. You can always do that. Or
let me put it this way, but to have a watch and love it and not even think about the money.
Yeah. Well, part of me always says that I could later always rebuy something else. Like, hell, what about a chronograph Patek with that money? I mean, gosh. I mean, stepping up with that cash instead of staying down with a stainless steel entry level.
No, okay.
That's the time to maybe step up.
Let's be okay. Whoa. Let's just slow this. Let's just stop and look at that argument, that statement here. But we know, because of the weirdness of our little affliction, that it's the base models, the entry models, that are most collectible and the most desirable.
Yeah.
So you can't say, well, it's just entry level. You know, a steel Daytona ceramic is the entry level Daytona. The steel Nautilus is three-hander is the entry level Nautilus. The FP Journe Chronomètre Bleu is the entry level of that series as well.
It's the one that everybody wants.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, when I bought that watch, I was deciding between that and the 5711 Nautilus. And I know which one I wanted. I wanted the Aquanaut because I wanted the Arabic numerals. I told the guy, I said, hey, all my watches are Rolex watches, and Rolex doesn't make Arabic numerals. They're all index. What do you call it? Index bars or hash marks or whatever they are. You know, so I really wanted, I really wanted the Aquanaut.
And Ghislaine's kind of jumping into a live stream comment that kind of reflects what you're saying. I bought my BLNR MSRP new last year, or new is last Oyster model 2019. Really like it, but prices are going crazy in the UK. Sonic goes higher, I guess, going higher than supersonic. Crazy not to flip.
Yeah. Somebody would, the the people who tell me I'm crazy for spending money on watches would even call me crazier for not flipping it for double MSRP. You know, if I make that one flip, then like my friends and family will all be like, wow, that's
Love,
hell of impressed.
Well, that's true. But on the other hand, we're enthusiasts. We're not frustrated or dealer wannabes.
Right.
So,
you know, here's another way to look at it though too. If I sell that watch for top dollar, isn't it true that I can always go back and buy it if my heart really wants it back? I sold it for top dollar. I should theoretically be able to buy it for pretty close or the same.
or, well, you might go back to your AD and they'll say, well, hey, sir, I just sold you one. What the fuck? Wait, what the fuck? Seriously?
Yeah. Well, you can. Well, yeah. You know what happens if that watch goes up another $10,000 after you sell it?
But literally, okay, my 321.
Yeah. What about it? It's gone. Okay. It's skyrocketed in 1 year like nothing, beyond control, right?
Yeah. And that's, well, of course, assuming Omega doesn't completely fuck it up, and we know they're going to fuck it up because, God, they can't help it. So help me God, they cannot help it. But on the other hand, I look at that watch and it's, and it's just like the whole thing. It's just love or money, love or money, love or money. But if you're thinking about doing that with a watch, you really don't love the watch.
What,
I think if there's a watch, what
you don't love it if you're flipping it?
I don't think you really do. You may like it, you may appreciate it, you may understand its value, you may appreciate its value, but
but I think there's a level.
I think well, and there's like, but on the other hand, that's like I think the point is get to where you care as much for your watch as you do. Well, not as much of your wife as your kids, but in theory,
they're pretty important, sure.
And like I said, I wouldn't want to, unless my kids are just annoying the dog shit out of me in any particular moment. I normally wouldn't think about selling them or trading them.
Yeah, but there's one difference though. The level of money in this case is quite dramatic. So if I'm walking out spending $21,000 on a piece that I could probably sell for $40 as a set with 3 bracelets.
Now, Jay Sykes is saying it's easier to not love a watch when the value skyrockets.
Yeah, because we're not talking, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $5,000. We're not even talking about double MSRP like a Daytona. We're talking double MSRP on an Aquanaut. I mean, and the thing is that you can't get them anymore. You can't get on the wait list anymore. And I really suspect that the price of that Aquanaut's probably going to go to $50,000 by the time I get that phone call and set to, where he says, come and pick it up. If he calls me a year from now, I mean, that watch might be worth $50,000 by then. Don't you think?
Possibly.
Look at those the Nautilus. How crazy. What are those going for? I mean,
those are so crazy. Yeah, but on the other hand, those are so crazy. Are people getting those because they love the watch, they love the design, they love the Gerald Genta cool vibe, or they get it because it's a way to show off?
I don't particularly care for the design, to be honest. I've seen one in the wild, and I tried to get as good a look at it as I could. And when I saw it, I was glad that I picked the Aquanaut. And deep down inside, I said to myself, oh man, you almost spent $30,000 on that watch that guy's wearing right there, and it really didn't get me off. The Aquanaut has some kind of spacey look to it, some kind of it looks like an Earth globe. Something about it is just different.
You know, I'd say if you get the watch that you really love and hold on to it, I think you're better off.
Yeah. You know, I've often contemplated when I do maybe narrow down, if I was to ever narrow down my collection, wouldn't it be interesting to have, you know, like a 3 or a 4 piece collection, you know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Well,
5196, you know, a Calatrava dress watch, an Aquanaut sports watch, and then maybe like a Daytona. There's your 3 watches, and maybe a sub. I don't know. Maybe you don't even need a 4th watch, do you?
but the guys that have 2 or 3 watches and they've had them forever, that is the kind of hobbyist I want to be, because they know themselves well enough to know what they really like and what their tastes are and what their preferences are. It's self-knowledge and self-discovery. They went out and got the pieces, and they haven't been lured away by more money, or, you know, value retention, or, you know, doubling. It's just like, nope, this is my watch and I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, Gishlan is saying, I love the Patek perpetual date. If I ever bought one, that would never go. I agree with him. That's the 3940. That's one of them. That's my favorite reference number.
But what if it became 3 times as valuable as when you bought it? And it's a trap. I mean, okay. I give Archie Luxury a lot of credit for making people aware of brand fuckery and shitty dealer tricks, and making people aware of value retention. So that way, if your tastes change, or if you're going to try something different, you're not slaughtered.
Uh-huh.
But when you think about it, if you look back in Archie's past, he was basically a small-time watch dealer. And I almost think he's bringing that attitude to everybody else.
I don't know. I like the way he looks at watches. He introduced me to Patek. I didn't know about Patek until I started watching his channel.
He hasn't held on to any of them, except for the Reverso.
Right. But no, I mean, you know, I really, it's funny because the first videos that I watched were all of the older videos. I didn't even see any of the newer videos for a while. I watched a lot of the old stuff. You know, his old stuff was pretty good, and he does a lot of really good older videos on Patek. And he really did sell the brand to me, you know. And then once I started researching it and everything about it, and seeing all the other people talking about them, it just all came together. And you know, and now I'm part of the club. So there you go, you know.
Part of the club, but there's also nothing wrong with knowing the brand really well and doing your research, and finding something that appeals to you that may not appeal to everybody else at the time.
Yeah, and you know, and you don't know what looks good until you see it. I mean, that Calatrava, stunning looking. It's unbelievable, you know.
And that's what sucks about the shortage, because you can't go in and try them on and find the one, you know, and find the one ring to rule them all.
I've never seen an Aquanaut. Never seen one. I mean, you've seen one, you have one, but I've never seen an Aquanaut, not even at Cherno's, nowhere used. I've never seen an Aquanaut.
But I think the flipping and everything else, but there are people, but how many stories have you heard about people that are still kicking themselves? I said, motherfucker, I shouldn't, you know, that GMT one, I love that GMT one, and I got greedy and I looked at something else and I flipped it. It's like, motherfuck, I shouldn't have, you know.
Yeah, that's going to happen with me with the Aquanaut, right? Look at the gold on the Patek. It just, something about it is it just,
yeah, but
it's just amazing.
But the thing is, now the people that do that because they realize, you know, after, you know, sometimes you don't appreciate something until it's gone. But there's a lot of people that do that. But like Archie, he kicks himself for selling that 1016. But I don't think it's because he loved the watch. I think he realizes only because, oh, I sold that thing. If I would have held that thing on for another couple of years, I would have made some big bank on it.
Sure. I'll tell you, that's the one thing I didn't follow of his advice, was one watch per brand. He was tooting that one watch per brand thing for a while, and I didn't buy into it. I almost did. I swear I almost did. But I didn't do it.
Well, here's the thing also, though. I mean, I don't think there's – I think if you know yourself well enough, if you do enough research, I don't – you know, people are talking like it's a cardinal sin or just an absolute fuck-up to get something other than Rolex. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. I mean, Rolex is playing it safe.
For sure.
Yeah.
I do think he made a mistake. He should have bought this 5196 as opposed to the automatic date. What did he buy? The 5227, or what did he get?
You got the 5296.
The 5296. Yeah, I think he made a mistake. Don't you think he should have gotten one of these instead? Look at the balance of the dial without the date. You see the balance of the dial without the date. Why do you need a date on this watch?
And some people don't like the sub-seconds. Some people don't like manual wind.
I need the sub-seconds. I need to have some movement, or I'll go stir crazy. I gotta see that the watch is moving. You know?
You have to know it's alive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, that's your own preference. I mean, on the other hand, you know, my old standard joke I've used on Archie is that there's a word for guys who like girls with big boobs. They're called heterosexuals.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay, but okay. Joking aside, some people settle and everything else like that, but we all have different preferences. We all have to have different likes.
Yeah, but I know, but you do know how much he loves the 5196. He talks about it all day, all the time. So he does love it. But the deal was in front of him for the 5296, so he had to take the deal before him, just like he always says, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's one thing about the used space. Yeah.
You know, he was able to get it financed or whatever he was going to do. Remember, I offered him this watch right after I got it. Don't ask me why. I'm glad he didn't take me up on my offer, but I think it was because I was buying a Daytona.
Yeah.
And I ended up just whatever. Now I got them all. Shit.
And one of the reasons I really loved Mark is that he was one of the people to say, you know, I had the Daytona, it's the unobtainium, it's the creme de la creme with Rolex. He's like, I didn't like the fucker. I sold it.
Which one?
He had he had a steel Daytona before the ceramics came out.
Oh yeah. He doesn't like Daytonas. Right.
Yeah. And which I like that about. It's like, wow, okay, so and you're trusting yourself, you're staying true to yourself, and instead of picking up based upon what everyone else thinks or what you think everyone else thinks. Yeah,
that's great. No, that's for sure good. That's good on him to be that way. Of course. So why would you buy something somebody else wants? They're too small for him. That's the thing for him. The watch is too small, and I don't think he likes the fact that the bezel isn't usable, even though he's not going to use it. That you can't read the bezel that greatly, but I think it's more or less the size of the watch for him. But I think, didn't he recently say in a video that he realized that the maxi cases are a little bit too big for him and he prefers the smaller watch? Didn't he just say that in a video recently? I could recall.
Oh, he's literally going from over 40 back to 40.
Yeah. So, you know, that's okay to change.
Well, yeah. And a lot of times this thing is about a self-discovery as much as anything else. But you know, I got rid of my Sea Dweller, my red Sea Dweller.
Yes. Yeah, well, you've always you have quite a varied collection to be able to, you know, move some of the pieces, right? You have quite
Yeah.
a bit of pieces. You should always be moving them because you're always buying pieces too, right? You got to be moving pieces, otherwise you're going to end up with a shit ton of watches.
Yeah, but that's one of the things. It's when I moved, I basically look down to something and say, is this something I've used recently? Is this something I foresee myself using in the near future? And does it bring me joy to look at and contemplate? And if the answer to all those were no, I would get rid of a lot of stuff. And I think it's the same thing with watches as well.
Yeah, just hopefully the bubble is here to stay, and it's like,
Well,
you know, laid a foundation that will never disappear on these prices that we've paid.
Oh yeah, because it will always be this way. Come on. Now, you know, I was basically, you know, at one point, like Mark, our resident super flipper, Blazing Mark, was basically saying, yelling, you know, basically saying that I was talking to a few dealers, and they were saying, May has been slower than we thought it would be.
What does that mean?
Same with Rolex.
Yeah.
It could be maybe the summer's taking a while to watch sales are taking a while to heat up. But I was saying, you know, if it were me, if I had a Rolex that didn't bring joy to my heart, I would get the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So
you know what? We might not notice the difference in the shortage. Like let's say the economy takes a dip or what have you, and there's less people buying watches. You would think that prices would go down, but there's too much of a shortage as it is.
Mm-hmm.
That I think it would it's going to account for all the people who can't buy watches. You still can't get them anyway. You know what I mean? You're still not going to be able to get them anyway. Well, I mean, if every AD gets 2 Daytonas per year, I mean, what difference does it make if the economy's bad? There's always going to be somebody that's going to want a Daytona, no matter what.
Well, that's a Daytona. That's but on the other hand, you know,
that's probably the same with a Hulk
Daytonas,
or a Batman.
Well, then the Hulk. Then you have the GMTs, and then the last ones have more entertaining mix than the 904L. Still was the Submariners. The Submariners, you could always find the freaking Submariners. Either, you know, you might have to settle for a one without a date, but even those have gone. But I think if things slow down a little bit, if demand eases, I'm not talking collapses, I'm talking eases off, then you will start seeing,
sure,
some of these pieces up.
Yeah. Well, then maybe some of us can get some of the ones we want. I personally kind of have all of the Rolexes that I think I want, but hey, you never know. I mean, if they call me for a Pepsi, I'm gonna run and grab it just because they're going for double MSRP. And then, you know, once you have it, you're probably gonna get attached to it and not want to get rid of it anyway.
Okay.
That's what's happening to me.
Yeah,
they're calling me.
I've got a lot more respect for someone that does that than someone, but it's all the people that are doing that are playing the game that's making them twice the amount that they are. It's the people that they're flipping. You know, we're not talking about people who are tourists. I'll try this. I'll try it out, and if I'll see if I like it. And if I don't love it, I can at least get out of it and not lose any skin. That's one thing. But the people that go out and immediately take it over to the reseller.
Right.
Oh, Hotsy is joining us.
Hey, what's going on? 2 tones are for those over 65. Yeah, maybe, except probably so, except for the bluesy.
Let me take this one. 65 IQ. So yeah. The
bluesy is a watch that you can pull off middle age.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's too fuck off for a young guy.
I think so. To me, it was a little bit too flashy, frankly.
You know, after you wear it for a couple of years, 3 years or so, the flash dies off that watch a little bit, quite a bit actually. It doesn't look at all like the day you bought it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I remember the first year I had that watch, I had to be very selective where I wore it. You know, I remember wearing it to a client's house one time, Clyde, and I forgot that I had it on. Okay, I really forgot that I had the son of a bitch on. And when I walked out of the house, their front window on their by their driveway was open, and I walked out, closed the door, and I heard the guy go back to the couch, and he said, "Did you see that fucking watch the guy was wearing?"
Well,
and I said, "Oh shit, leave that sucker in the car from now on."
Well, and you've got there's two types of clients or customers. You've got the ones that would say, well, he must be he must know what the hell he's doing if he can pull off a watch like that. Then you've got the other half that is saying, well, that guy's obviously overcharging if he can afford that watch.
Right. Yeah, another time, someone commented about my president, and I said, yeah, well, I told him, hey, yeah, I love watches, I collect watches, I love them, at least, I'm not going to be running off with your money, that I'm doing okay enough to not have to rob you for anything.
Okay, now Hotsy is saying, I see two-tone, and I immediately think of my 80-year-old uncle. Now look. Now, Hotsy, does your uncle? I thought your uncle had the gold Daytona. Is it gold or is it two-tone? Make up your mind here.
14 karat gold plated. Some of those Daytonas back then were gold plated, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about gold plated. Now I know that some of the ones, the lesser ones, were like gold cased. And I was looking at that one, and Archie quickly taught me out of that, and I'm glad he did.
Yeah, the two-tone, I kind of agree with Hatsy. I just think that the bluesy was a little different, a little special. And mine is the Smurf blue. It's not the navy blue, the royal blue, or whatever you call that. So it makes it even look a little bit more different. But other than the blue one, I think, two-tone, gosh, that new two-tone. My AD calls it the Dr. Pepper, that root beer.
Yeah.
But that one is pretty nice looking. But I do have something against it. I hold it against Rolex that they didn't frame the date window in gold on that watch. I'm not getting that.
Well, that's because you keep in mind Rolex is extremely greedy, a little late, and a little lazy with an overwhelming sense of entitlement.
Yeah, if they're withholding rag wipes, they're going to withhold gold frame date windows. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know if you've ever held up a two-tone with a gold frame date window versus a two-tone sub without a gold frame date window. And when you look at them together, man, it's kind of night and day.
It's like, why don't they do them all that way?
Charge me the extra $50, the extra $10 for the gold, the extra $5 for the gold, whatever it is. Mark it up 10x. I'll pay $500 for the $5 with the gold, but put it in there.
But I was actually talking to Mark, and he was talking, well, what could Rolex do better? I mean, how you're saying they should bring more stuff to they should make, I was basically arguing, if they put the same effort and attention into their classic line that they did the professional line, they'd sell more watches. That way they wouldn't be offloaded. Because if you walk into an AD, I used to call it Datejust or Us. Now it's the Two-Tone Tabernacle. But they all look the same. They're all the same, basically 3 or 4 colors and just slightly different sizes. And you really have to know the brand just to be able to tell the different sizes apart in the display. But Mark was saying, what could they do better? I said, well, we're talking about the James Cameron. He said, well, that is the thickest, chunkiest watch you got. So why are you holding on to that one?
Yeah, my guy said that all the steel watches are really hey, what's up, dude? All the steel watches are really going.
Yeah.
You know, that's my boy. Yeah, all the steel watches are really going. The OPs, the steel OPs.
Yeah, gone. But then Mark's basically
They're
said,
nice looking too, Clyde. They're not bad looking.
no, they're. I love. I think the white. I think people quickly realized what a great value the white and the black dial 39s were.
Yes.
But one of the things I said, so why are you holding on to that one when it violates the rules that you said what you love about the other ones? And they said, I just love this blue dial. He talking about the iridescent, it changes color. Kind of, I've heard the Hulk is the same way. I said, okay, they can pit that kind of, but see what happened with that, Mark, is that the deep sea wasn't selling. They said, oh shit. So then they got together in the huddle and they put the James Cameron. Then they came up with the blue dial.
Mm.
Those are selling. So okay. So what's stopping them to do the same thing with the date justs? Even with the date just, the Wimbledon dial is the one you can't find.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, and that's because they put just a tiny amount of effort into it.
Sure. No, I tried one of those on about a month ago. They had one at not my AD, but at the other one that I went to. I tried it on, and it was. That's a watch that could fall into my lap one day. If fortunes continue.
Yeah, and like I said, boy, a steel Jubilee with white gold bezel, I have to admit that would be pretty damn sweet. But the thing is, if Rolex put just a little bit more effort in their classic line, I think one of the reasons about this, you heard all the stories about Joe Mashop ends up with all these classic watches because the dealers can't get rid of them for love or money. They're not allowed to discount them, so they'll quietly shuffle them out the door to the gray market. And in return, the gray market's saying, well, hey, if we're going to take these ones off you, then we want a couple of the good ones as well.
Right. They're doing that to be able to keep their Rolex license, right? If they don't move those pieces, then, so they're...
But if they came up with pieces...
That's how Costco ends up with some of those watches, huh?
Yeah. But if Rolex put a little bit more thought and made the classic ones more appealing, more compelling, they wouldn't have to do that.
Sure.
And again, they're greedy and a little lazy.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, as far as we all want sports stainless steel, I don't think our opinion is going to change if they do much with the Datejust 2. I'll agree with you. I love that Wimbledon dial, but we all have had the opportunity to probably get it, but we elected to buy it a Steel Sports. So,
or two-tone. No, the thing is, it's working. Yeah.
I mean, getting desperate. If we're getting desperate, we're going to start reaching.
Yeah, we'll start going in. But the thing is, if you're following what everyone else does, you're going to pay. It's frustration and added costs, and you may not even end up even getting what you really want. If you follow the herd, if you're riding tail, following the herd, you're going to do nothing but eat dust and smell shit.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say two of the things I didn't follow from the Pontiff were the one watch, one brand.
We all thought he was a fucking idiot for that.
Yeah, right. And then the other thing too was, buying secondhand. And I'll agree for the most part, that's what you want to look at first. But it shouldn't prevent you from buying the watch, because all of the watches I bought at MSRP plus tax are all now double MSRP. And if I held off on them, then I wouldn't have them, and I wouldn't be up double MSRP on them at the same time,
Yeah.
So, and I got a relationship with the AD by buying those watches. So hence I got that Daytona a couple of months ago.
Rich, most people aren't as blessed as you are. And there's, like I said, so, and I'm not knocking you. I mean, God, just like most Americans, you worked your ass off for that money.
Yeah, definitely say that.
Yeah. And you had the means to build that relationship. A lot of people don't have the funds to build that relationship.
Sure. And there's also, it's economies of scale too. There's guys building relationships with AP. Those guys will hang up on me.
Oh yeah.
Right. Imagine, building a relationship with AP. Who's that one guy that is on some of the channels that lives in a castle somewhere? That guy.
Judy Robson.
Yeah. Look at those. Look at that collection. I mean, holy smokes, right?
Oh yeah.
So those guys get flown out to Switzerland to buy a watch.
Well, yeah, and he's being fearsed fiercely to do that.
I got 2 candy canes for my kids today. 2 candy canes.
Dude, it's May.
Right. They've probably been out there since December. Exactly.
December of 2016. Yeah. Now, one thing I do not follow from the pontiff is to alienate my family, lose my house, and develop morbid obesity. But I kind of think, I think the contrarians, though, what is the standard advice? If everyone is buying, sell, and if everyone is selling, buy.
Oh. Like stocks?
Yep.
Well, that's all fine and dandy if I bought 2 of everything, okay? If I bought 2 Hulks, 2 Batmans, 2 of these, then I'll have one to get rid of to make money on. But that's not the case. And, I'm passionate about my collection. So, right? Same as you.
True. But are you holding on to them because of the value retention, or are you holding on to them because you love them?
Yeah, I hold on to them because I like to look at them together as a collection.
Okay.
I really do.
Not a goddamn thing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, yeah, the thing is, if you have something that you love, stick with it.
Yeah, and that's been Rolex pretty much.
Well, yeah, I'm
same with you, right?
Well, I'm all, it might be changing. It might be changing, honestly. But there's other brands out there, and
well, hey, I made a move. I got this Patek here. I got another one coming, and then I have I stepped down to this Doxa. It's a great. So I'm spreading out a little bit too, like you. I'm diversifying a little bit too, like you. That's what I'm saying. I came full circle. And I realized that when I bought this ETA watch, and I'm so happy with it. I'm just, it's beyond me. So I realized I came full circle now.
Well, and something is, I think it's a great time to be into watches other than Rolex. Nothing against Rolex. Get some of them if you want them and can. But there's also a bunch of cool stuff at great value right now.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen so many great values on JLC.
Yeah. And, I think the Reverso, if you don't love the Reverso, then, if you're just doing it just basically like the horological thrift store, don't get anything unless you love it.
Right. You kept your Reverso, or it's at the dealer on consignment, isn't it?
It's at the dealer in consignment, but I think I'm going to probably get it back, and I'm all right with that.
I'm surprised it didn't sell.
No, because JLC is soft.
Yeah.
But I think it is a cool fucking watch.
It's not a see-through case back, right?
No, it's a duo face.
Oh, okay.
And actually, as a legal professional, that probably suits me.
No, that's the That's the perfect attorney's watch for sure.
Yeah,
I think so.
but get it. What I'm saying is, if there's something out there, if you do the research, if you price it well, if you do everything else, if you know the ins and outs, the pros and cons, get it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it because it's value, because it's cheap, because your friends are, or if it's going to get you laid. Well, no, actually, I take the back. If it's going to get you laid, you should totally get it. But other than that, or if you love it, or you love getting laid.
Yeah, the JLC. I don't have one yet. I don't know if I'll get one. There's, I've always wanted one just because of their horological ability. Like Don Haynes said, they're the Yodas of watchmaking, and that they are.
The watchmaker's watchmaker. They've
Right.
supplied pieces for other really horology brands, including Patek Philippe.
I'd love to have one of their more complicated pieces that I know their more advanced watchmakers had to dig their hands in it. I'd want one of those, like a Deadbeat Seconds watch. Those were all made by the upper echelon watchmakers over there.
Mm.
What do they call those? Deadbeat Seconds?
Master. Yeah, I know which one. Yeah,
That series, the Geophysics.
Thank you.
Right? Yeah.
And there's nothing.
Just not the boring looking one. There's one of them I think that's pretty boring looking. I don't want that one.
Yeah.
I kind of like the World Timer. The one with the gap in the center.
Yeah. Geophysic True Second is what in something.
Yes, thank you. That's it. Do you have any boutiques next to you, Clive? What is that like?
No, we pretty much have just, we have one large chain jewelry store with like three locations, and guess what? They all carry Rolex.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a bummer.
Jay Sykes says JLC owners give the middle finger to resale value. JLC owners are getting just the tip, or more, possibly more on resale.
Well, you know what else too, though? You can buy JLC online directly from them. And I do believe you can get it cheaper than if you walked into the store to buy it.
Well, yeah. Then
so they're undercutting their own boutiques.
Oh, God. Or no, their own ADs, in other words. Yeah, which means they're fucking over. Oh, that business model is really going to work out well for them in the long run.
Now, they do have certain watches that are boutique only. Like, have you seen some of the reversos that have the rare stones or the stone dials? Those are all boutique only, but they cost more, and you're going to pay tax. Although I don't know if you can avoid tax by buying from JLC directly online, but yeah, they sell them online.
Yeah, but there's. And again, unless there's one model you look at and it just instantly grabs you, I think it probably the advice. God, I hate to say, well, Archie and other people, stick with if you're unsure, stick with the icons.
And something says the universal time is great. Unlike the Patek World Time, it has indicators for daylight savings time, and that's a great point. I looked at that when I was considering World Timers one time.
But Rolex is right now. Unless you have that special relationship, God, that sounds gay, with a dealer, you're going to be, you're not going to get anything from the AD. You're going to be paying. But I think if Rolex's current business model is to drive people to higher horology brands, they're doing a damn good job because, would I like a Pepsi? Yes. Would I pay $18,000 for a Pepsi?
No way.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
So if I've got that kind of money, I'll be saying, I wonder what AP has.
Right. If you can, yeah. They won't sell you a watch either, but I'd certainly rather spend $20,000 on a Royal Oak than $18,000 on a Pepsi.
So what do you think about the new Vacheron Constantin overseas?
New?
Yeah.
How's it different? How's it different than the prior?
Bigger, better bracelet, and a better movement.
Okay, so it's very similar. They're just okay. I saw the prior year model and I tried those on, and the one thing that stood out to me with the Vacheron overseas was if you get the blue dial, that blue dial is the prettiest blue dial of any blue dial watch that I think I probably honestly have ever seen. Well, you know what? The Patek blue dial is also amazing. So I'll say it's equal.
So, but if you're going to spend that kind of money if you're going to spend that kind of money on a Pepsi, you not only can you get a brand new VC for less, I mean, you probably get it for less money and higher brand. And it used to be right now, you used to get the VC, you used to get the overseas if you didn't have the the patience, the money, or the relationship to get a, the Nautilus or the Royal Oak. But now, I mean, actually, I think even the overseas are starting to go up a little bit as well, because people are starting to say, maybe that's not such a bad choice after all.
I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to pick up if I'm going to get one of those, I'm going to get the prior year model, and I'm just going to wait. I'm going to get the prior year model for a discount, or I'm going to wait for the new one until it goes secondhand.
Yeah. Well, Booster, you guys are actually talking about watches? What the fuck? Yeah. Or find one secondhand, get someone, find someone short selling it. But
yeah, because really you do it's important to consider resale for one. I think there's a good reason. If you're buying one or two watches for a collection and that's all you're ever going to buy, one or two watches, it doesn't matter about resale. However, if you're like some of us and you like to have a dozen watches, resale is important because it allows you to have more, to retain more watches. If they didn't retain their value, I wouldn't have as many. Does that make sense, though?
Yeah, it does. But let's take it on the flip side. Now, Archie is basically, his whole thing is it's got to hurt, and he's not talking about a date with a lady boy, but I think that is a great consideration. Not in the way that I think most people interpret it. Most people basically say, unless it's an uber expensive watch that's really going to make you destitute or make the average person destitute, it's not really worth the consideration. I don't think that's quite right. I think it's like a watch that it's
that's
a watch.
The one rule that I kind of did follow when I was watching his show, that it had to hurt. That's the one rule I always followed, that it had to hurt.
But I think it's a valid rule, but from a different. I often agree with a lot of what he says, but for different reasons than what he originally espoused. I think that's a great rule because it forces you to be very more considerate and careful and measured instead of getting something recklessly or thoughtlessly or without doing your homework.
Very true. Very true. Very true. You're going to be very careful what you're buying at those hurt me prices. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, so
I just bought what I liked. I'm going to be honest. That's what I did. I walked into Rolex. I would walk in every now and then, and when I saw something I liked, I just bought it. I didn't know what it was. I am
100%. I'm downtown Charlie Brown with you, 100%. Because one of the things I've actually learned is to trust my instincts. My instincts are better than I initially gave them credit for.
So when I saw Hulk, I didn't know that they existed. I didn't know they had green watches. I walked into my AD one day, and I said, "Whoa, they make a green watch?" And I said, "Hey, that's cool. That's the money watch." I said, "I'll take that one." And I took it, and that's I liked it, and I took it. I didn't ever see it before. I didn't know they were rare.
And the thing is, that's actually more of a collector standpoint than a flipper standpoint.
Mm. Yeah, that's, and then the same thing with the GMT with the Batman. It was the same thing. I saw that, And I said, well, that's pretty cool, the blue and the black bezel, and I don't have a GMT. That's the one to get. If I'm going to pick any GMT that you guys have here, and they had them all, that was the one I got, you know.
Absolutely.
But I was always against the Daytona. I can't tell you how many times I passed up the Daytonas, all the way from the stainless to the ceramics, whenever they were just sitting there right in front of you. And the primary reason that I passed them up was, I mean, I just saw so many women wearing them. And I got to be honest, that's really the only reason that I passed them up. And it wasn't until I kind of had all the other Rolexes that I wanted. And then it was like, okay, which one am I going to get now? And it's like, damn, you never picked up the Daytona. What a screw up that was. And now you want it.
Did I know? Well, like a little organization I'm affiliated with, on the back of coins, to thine own self be true. Now, if it doesn't melt your butter, why get it? Why spend money on it? I mean, I've gotten emails that basically said, "Hey, my dealer contacted me, and there's a brand new red Sea Dweller, and I can get him MSRP. You know, I'm not really that well about the watch." And my response is, "Then why the fuck are you getting it?"
Sure. Yeah, you don't want to get it in those scenarios. I had one of those in my hand. It wasn't for me. It was reserved for someone else, but they showed it to me, the brand new Sea Dweller with the new movement in it. She let me hold it and play with it. And she said, would you like to possibly get one of these if we can get you one? And I said, no, it looks too much like my ceramic sub-date. I don't need something that looks so similar.
Now, if they came out with well, of course, if they came out with a ceramic sub and they narrowed the lugs a little bit, made it more like a slightly smaller, slimmer, not as thick Red Sea Dweller, but kept everything else the same, I'd probably be down for that.
Wait, didn't this new Sea Dweller? It does have a slimmer case, right?
Slimmer case, but it's still a chunky monkey compared to a sub.
Right. But she was pointing out to me that it did have a slimmer case. She was pointing that out. It did have a little bit of a slimmer case.
Because of the new movement. Yeah, it's wider. It was wider, but not quite as thick.
I see. I see.
I understand. You have to be looking at your cell phone while you're saying that.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you think, Clivers? Call it a night?
I think so. I mean,
okay.
Caution. I mean, this.
That was cool.
Yeah, this is the new normal right now. Like it or not. Yeah. But on the other hand, we don't know how long the new normal is going to last. I mean, I still say, if you have a Rolex, if you don't love the thing, if you've fallen out of love, if you've lost that love and feeling, if you don't think you can get it back, maybe put it in the safe, come back to it, and so forth and so on. I'd say get out of it and find something you love.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's planning on getting rid of a watch, right now is the time to do it before. You know, when it's hot, that's always the time to get rid of something, when it's hot. Better than when it's not.
Yep. And the people, people that everyone's bitching about the Rolex shortage, but there's a lot of people that are bitching about it. On the other hand, it's like, well, wait, do you still have that two-line sub that you said you hate? Well, yeah, but it's going up in value every year. Well, I'm sorry, you're part of the problem.
I tried putting a couple of watches on the Craigslist just to see what would happen, and boy, you get undercut beyond belief on that thing, don't you?
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll have local watch flippers. Like over here, we have in Dallas, we've got, I call them Sharko.
Oh, and they're going on there trying to lowball you.
Yeah, because they're equity thieves. They want to take it from you so they can take it to their established customer base and take your equity.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of it's the same thing as basically taking a watch to an AD or to a watch reseller. It's just this way they get to fuck you up the ass in the privacy and comfort of your own home. Say you driving across town and them spreading you across the display.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. Well, I love European Watch Company. I bought some watches from them, and they're great. They're great, and I would recommend using them. But boy, they should have given me a little. They should have offered me a little bit more for the Daytona if they really wanted it from me.
Well, yeah, but and the thing is, it depends. Also, no, of course, keep in mind we see them as valuable commodities. We see them as rarities. We see them as highly desirable pieces. Okay.
How do they see them?
One of the difference between a collector and a flipper sees it. I mean, they just see it as a commodity.
Yeah, just business, right?
Yeah. So every time when they see pieces, it's like taking your dry cleaning. It's like taking your laundry into the dry cleaner. They want to make as much as they can off of every piece of soiled clothing that they touch.
Yeah, boy, my dry cleaners are rip off.
I've got a decent, got one that's great, but I have to drive across town. It's just like, I think I'll just get fisted a little bit since I can, since it's like a 2-minute drive.
Yeah.
So it's like, because that 20 minutes one way, you get 20 minutes over there, 20 minutes back, and then to pick it up 20 minutes, same thing. Oy. But the thing about that though is the inverse is time. If you have a Rolex and like you're part of Vingtonier's wait staff and he's wanting to solve his date just and maybe get an Air King or something like that, then that guy is going to have all sorts of more time to deal with the dickery and the fuckery and the lowballers on Craigslist or OfferUp and so forth and so on. The reason when people have said, you could get more, you can get more money if you did it yourself and list it, and you list on the channel. It's like, number one, it's a pain in the ass to do. It takes up all this time, and I have a job.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. This is meeting people here through the watch group and everything, and making some friends and stuff. And it actually can possibly be a good medium.
Tell me you're part of Fist, right?
No, I'm not, because you know why? I don't like to go on Facebook at all. It's not my thing.
I think you would find a home in Fist.
Because I created Facebook,
which is
one day
finding a home in you, but that's beside the point.
I created a Facebook one day just to enter Bill Sanders' watch contest, and I won the watch.
Nice.
And I never went on there again. And I sent that watch to my buddy in Palm Springs, try to get him into watches. But
nice.
But yeah. So I mean, you know what? Maybe I'll check it out. But yeah, the whole Facebook thing, it's kind of that thing of two worlds colliding, and I don't know. Facebook has a lot of people from everywhere that know you from everywhere, and I don't know, Facebook.
Well, it's a closed group, so that's one of the nice things about it.
Oh, is it?
Hey,
oh, okay.
I depending on what time you wrap this puppy up, I sent you an email just now, so.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think we're done, right? We're done. This is good. Well, thanks for joining me. This was cool. I was kind of having a little bit of live stream withdrawal, so I figured, hey, I'll go on here and share my Rolex service experience and see if anybody joins me. So thank you guys all for joining me. And, I'm very new at this and, not really good at reading the comments and stuff yet. So thanks, Clyde, for helping me. Thanks for helping out.
Oh, that's right. I'm kind of used to doing it, quite frankly.
Right.
At least I don't have to read super chats. Thank God.
Cool. Yeah, this took the load off you a little bit, by me doing it instead of you. So that's kind of cool, right?
Now, Hatsi is saying, don't do Facebook, Rich.
Yeah, when I had I opened a Facebook once, and a couple of people from, gosh, I mean, high school, from so far back, said, "Is this Rich?" It's just trying to reach. Why are these people trying to contact me? And I just said, "Nah, I don't know. I don't really want to do this."
I didn't like you in 1985, motherfucker. Why do you want to talk to you
Yeah,
now?
kind of, pretty much, something like that. I don't really. I'm almost 50. I don't really want to go riding skateboards. I think it kind of, when I looked at your profile, it kind of looked like you still might be riding skateboards and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
well.
then again, I'm here in Huntington Beach, so a lot of people do that for a living, I guess, or whatever.
Well, I had the running stilts for a little bit in my 30s, but I'm just thankful I didn't break my leg again.
Yeah. I got a messed up leg and a back and a hip and a spine. So, but that's why one of the things you guys kind of saved me, man. I'll be honest. You and Archie, holy shit, I was in a lot of fucking pain. I am a lot of times, but especially when I first started watching you guys, oh my God, I'd be in tears watching your streams, and you guys really took me away. And the watches are how I get my peace of mind and my family too. But no, you guys, man, I use you guys as a crutch, and I fell in love with watches, and there you go. So cheers.
Thanks.
All right. We'll call it a night.
All right. Guys, thanks for everyone joining us. Thanks for, especially to end something, the regulars. There's some guys that just show up for it. Yeah, Booster's like, holy shit, you guys are actually talking about watches. We try to do that when we have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, why not?
In something, and of course, Vingtinier. I guess, I think Tan's probably having dinner, so.
He's been in here before, I think. He's been in one of my streams before, so I think so. So he knows about me. Yeah, cool. He was in here last time I had a live stream, so.
Yeah, then Vingtinier kind of started, after you said, well, oh shit, I think Richmond, he's like, fuck.
I sent him a link too, but he didn't join. He just decided to send it in the chat, so maybe next time.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, Rich buddy.
All right, bye.